Hey Canucks fans, hope you're well on this Monday. A ton of roster moves stemming from yesterday's 4-3 victory over the Washington Capitals that saw Filip get injured, that saw Jonathan Lekkerimäki got injured, got scared that Teddy Blueger got injured, but maybe that's not the case. So let's get into it and we'll talk about all the ramifications, all the reasoning. So let's get going. General Manager Patrick Allvin announced today, this is on Canucks Twitter, the following roster moves. Filip and Jonathan Lekkerimäki placed on injured reserve retroactive to October 19, which was yesterday. Defenseman Victor Mancini assigned to Abbotsford. Forwards Joseph Lebate and defenseman Jimmy Schuld have been recalled from Abbotsford, and forward Niels Hoglander being placed on LTIR retroactive to October 7. Okay, there's so much here. Let's try and break it down one by one. Niels Hoglander, retroactive to LTIR. Regular injured reserve is only 7 days. LTIR, long-term injury reserve, is a minimum of basically a month, 24 days I think it is, and then 10 games. So I might not have that exactly right. Let me look that up real quick. LTIR is 24 days and 10 games. Okay, so with Niels Hoglander being placed retroactively on LTIR to October 7, so 24 days would be October 31st. He's going to miss more than 10 games. He had pre-season ankle surgery, so he's going to be out till December, January, but you start by placing a player on IR and then you can go retroactive. So they will receive some cap relief for Niels Hoglander. For a player on LTIR, you get cap relief to the extent of their cap hit, and then or you can go over the salary cap to the extent of their cap hit. So in this case, it's Hoglander's $3 million. That will come into play in a second. Whereas IR, it's different. The cap hit of that player on IR still counts against the cap, but you can replace them on the roster. So a bit more flexibility, but you still have to be aware of the cap implications. So once again, IR, regular injured reserve, it is a minimum of a week gone. You can replace the player on the roster, but you have to carry his cap hit. LTIR, minimum of 24 days, as I mentioned, and at least 10 games. And then you get the cap relief and you get the roster spot. So unlike IR, where you only get the roster spot, you don't get the cap relief. So Niels Hoglander, retroactive to October 7. Filip took that big hit from Tom Wilson, so he's flying back to Vancouver to get evaluated. So right now he's on IR, retroactive to yesterday. That could go to long-term IR, but I sure hope not. And we have our fingers crossed for Filip for concussions that Wheelie's been diagnosed and maybe more. We hope that he's okay. Got hit in the chest, but you can still get jarred and get a concussion from not getting hit in the head, so we shall see. Then Jonathan Lekkerimäki, we saw that collision in the first period, maybe a shoulder, maybe a collarbone. He was placed on IR, retroactive to yesterday. So what happens to those guys? No, well, I'll do all these transactions. And then Victor Mancini assigned to Abbotsford, and because of a certain rule, he's got to play one game in Abbotsford, and they don't play till Friday. So we won't see Mancini until the weekend, and he had an $875 cap hit. So they're trying to maximize, they're doing basically cap gymnastics. You want to be as close to the $95 million salary cap without being over, and then you can maximize the $3 million that Hoglander, his salary on LTIR. So they did that by sending down Mancini, but by calling up Lebate and Schuld, who make less than Mancini. Mancini makes $100,000 more, but by bringing him down, by bringing these two guys up, they're as close to the salary cap as they can to maximize every single dollar and day that Hoglander is on LTIR. So I hope that makes sense. Mancini went down not because of poor play, I don't think, but because Lebate and Schuld are cheaper, and you need to fill your roster and have some extra bodies just in case as well. And we'll talk about that right now. So those were the moves. Lekkerimäki onto IR, Mancini down to Abbotsford, can come back after he plays one game in Abbotsford on Friday. Lebate and Schuld up, and then Niels Hoglander back to LTIR. Now, what does this mean for the Canucks? Well, the good thing is it sounds like Teddy Blueger at least is not going to go on any injured reserve list or anything like that. So Patrick Allvin said he is maybe doubtful for tomorrow against Pittsburgh, but maybe can get into the lineup for Nashville. Same with Besser. Besser is a possibility after taking a leave for personal reasons. He is a possibility to play against Pittsburgh tomorrow night. So what does this mean for the roster? it basically means that Besser was still on the roster yesterday, the 23-man roster as a healthy scratch. And P.O. Joseph and Ratu, those were the 3 healthy scratches yesterday. Besser, Joseph, and Ratu. So I see Ratu coming in for Chytil. Basically, that's an easy swap. Hopefully Besser comes in for Lekkerimäki. But if Besser's not ready, then that's why you have Joseph Lebate. So your forwards basically are going to be Pettersson, Garland, DeBrusk, Kane. Pettersson, DeBrusk, Garland, Kane. And then the Abbotsford guys, Baines, Sasson, and Carlson. Then you have Sherwood, you have O'Connor, and then you're going to have some combination of Ratu and, if not Teddy Bluger, it'll be Joseph Lebate. So that's what the Canucks get. And they can call up Niels Amon. That's the one I was missing. So if Bluger can't go, I suspect that they can call up Niels Amon tomorrow and fill in that spot. And then you have Joseph Lebate as your extra, or you go Amon or Lebate as your extra. One guy in, one guy out. And again, we got to see what Besser does. So again, the forwards tomorrow I could see as being Garland, Baines, and then Petey, Sherwood, Sasson, DeBrusk, Kane, Carlson for sure. That's only 8. And then some combination of Ratu and Amon and hopefully Besser and Lebate. And there's your 12. On D, it'll likely be the top 4, and then it'll likely be P.O. Joseph with DPD, and then Jimmy Schuld would be your extra. So I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little bit confusing because there's so many players going out, there's so many players coming in, but I think the main thing is they made the Mancini move and Lebate and Schuld up to maximize, to get as close to 95.5 as they could, to maximize Niels Höglander's $3 million cap hit. But then they can still make roster moves tomorrow. You can make a roster move the same day as a game. So I suspect that they're going to call Niels Amon up tomorrow. And then I'm not sure where that puts that up against the salary cap, but I'll do a video about that tomorrow. So all you need to know, a lot of changes. Bluger is doubtful to play tomorrow, and Besser is a possibility. So those are the big things. Bluger and Besser. Chytil and Lekkerimäki flew back to Vancouver for more evaluation. So there's a lot there. There's rumors, both Rick Dhaliwal and Ian McIntyre are saying Tom Willander might get called up to play maybe tomorrow or Thursday as well, or at least be on the roster. So I by my count, I think there's one extra roster spot still that the Canucks are saving for a call-up tomorrow, whether that is Tom Willander or my guess is Niels Amon, and then depending on Besser, then one of Amon or Lebate. Probably, if Bluger can't play, Amon will play. You need 4 centers, right? So probably will be Pettersson, Ratu, Sasson, and Amon or Lebate. That will be the debate for the fourth line center. Wow, I know that's a lot. It's hard when I don't do graphics. It's hard when I'm just talking, but I think you get the gist of it. I will link to the posts in the description. I'd love your comments down below of all this roster gymnastics, salary cap gymnastics, roster mechanics, and who knows, they'll probably make more changes, more announcements tomorrow when the Canucks take on Archer Shilovs and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Shout out to my sponsors, Vancity Experts Real Estate, Gassy Jack Art, and Mulligan Golf Company. Thanks to my legends, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Line Change, legendary Brian Blingy Choi, legendary Carol Bovelander, legendary Swerven Irvin, and legendary Andrew Chang. Thanks to Hall of Fame franchise members as well. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, subscribing. On your way out, like the video, subscribe. You can leave a donation. You can leave a comment as to what the heck's going on here. And I hope to see you tonight, Canucks After Dark at 10, me and Parker, and then CCC Open House at 11:15. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.